My next guest is Nestor Aparicio. Always in a good mood, always in a holiday mood. Nestor, welcome in.
Well, I don't know about all that. I mean, it depends on,
Oh yeah,
it depends on how it goes
you're
on
you're
Sunday night.
positive. Even when you're spitting out truths and people take that as being negative, you're always positive. I think that's what some people miss about you, that you're just passionate and positive. And look, it's your job to point out some things that aren't 100% right with certain things in the sports world locally in particular. But uh, let's talk about
Uncomfortable truths, as we say.
comfortable truths. This makes you a great reporter, man. You've been at this game for a long, long time. You've forgotten more than most people know when it comes to sports. That's what I want to
You,
start telling people about you. He's
you know what,
forgotten
John?
more.
John Eisenberg, I was over doing the crab cake tour, and I was wearing my Warren Moon jersey, which was a great occasion to do it because his book's about black quarterbacks. Warren Moon's actually on the cover. And, I was over there, and John Eisenberg and I got into it about the stadium lease thing. And Dan Rodricks has been texting me because he's my guest next week. So these are like people that I knew when I was 15, 16, 17 years old. I'm
Sure.
55 now. They're here. They're 40 years further along, having Mayflower vans,
Yeah.
three baseball owners now, Camden Yards, the football
Yeah.
team, Angela, all of this, right? And the one thing Eisenberg said to me, like on the way out the door, was like, he was like, "Don't let up on them. Stay on them. Keep doing what you're."
Keep
And I'm
pushing.
like,
Keep
when
pushing.
I get journalists who I consider to be Pulitzer worthy telling me that sort of stuff as they leave, I know I'm on the right track.
Oh,
So I'll continue that. But I mean, I can walk and chew gum at the same time. I mean,
no.
I had a little activity, and I know I didn't want to talk baseball with you, but you get me started on all this.
My
Um,
fault.
well, it is your fault, and I'll say this because it's Black Friday, right? This weekend, right? And I'm gonna. Are
Yes.
you gonna spend money this weekend, Black Friday? Are you
Of
gonna buy
course, I've
something?
I've got I've got about a half a dozen things circled that I will be shopping for Black Friday. Why not? If they're 30% off, 50% off, like anyone else, my background, my roots, immigrant, Essex. You're in the Colgate area. We like to save money.
Well, that's why you save money on cars for people here.
I'm
Coons, Baltimore, Ford.
save as
So
much as
I
I
mean,
can.
but listen, everybody's got a Black Friday deal, and it incents us to buy because we sense the value. We see a
Sure.
deal, right? So and Coons Ford and other people see the value, and you may have money to spend right now. So like, and you may be more thinking about
Sure.
holiday and like all. So either way, I thought about this because of the concert world, right? Like every concert, the Rolling Stones put their tickets on sale. Why do you think they did that? Because Black Friday, you might buy a ticket, a gift, a
Sure.
holiday gift. You're incented to spend money. I think there's probably studies saying that Americans spend more money in these next 4 or 5 days than they do any other time of the year. Probably, I'm just guessing, but okay, so I need long underwear. I need a pillow for my neck. There are a few things I need, holiday things, right? And concerts are a thing that I will not buy tickets ahead of time. I got sort of burned on some Barbara Streisand tickets a
I
couple
got
years
you.
ago. I'm a wait later kind of guy, right?
Have you ever gotten shut out? I mean, from a concert by having that strategy?
The only event in the history of events that I've ever gone to that I didn't get into was the 1999 Rose Bowl. I went out to
Got it.
LA. It was Michigan and Washington State. It was the Ryan Leaf, Greasy. There were 35,000 Michigan fans who flew out there and couldn't get in. Like it
Gotcha.
was, and it
But
wasn't,
but
I
that's a
couldn't
rare
get
event
in,
though, because I've
but
started
I
to notice
wasn't
that.
going to spend $700 to get in
Right.
because
I
I didn't
got
care
you. I
enough. You know
got
what I
you.
mean?
Yep. No, because
Um,
I'm starting to use your strategy of waiting last minute to buy concert tickets.
well, I think you can always see the unlike when I didn't have cars 3 years ago, even for me, even for a friend, you're like, dude, I got 6 cars on the lot. It's
Right.
all I got. When there's only a couple tickets, it's different, but you can see the inventory now, right?
You can.
So
Yes, you can.
here's where I leave this. And this is something and this is baseball related, and it's even football related, where the Ravens game against the Bengals the other night was a big deal. It was a really tough ticket. It was a tough late ticket.
Was it really?
Bengals fans
Huh.
held it up. The Lions game, tickets held up because the Lions fans held them up. Browns game was a bit of a giveaway. The early season games, very much. Houston game, they were $20 tickets. Like nobody wanted them or whatever. The Orioles sort of the same thing. You can see this with Phillies playoff tickets. You can see this with concert tickets. So my point being, Black Friday being Sammy Hagar put his tour on sale. The Stones put their tour on sale. All these big tours next year, Green Day, all these they want your money. They want your money now. Money. Somebody's going to buy a car next year and start paying you for it now, Dennis. You'd sell it to them, right?
Of course. Of
So,
course.
right. So the baseball world and the Orioles in this lease thing, this is what's really screwy about their business. And I've had Marty Conway on for years. We've called it unorthodox. And this is, I guess, Angelos being so rich or so dense or so legaled up or so sort of out of it at the end. They never have their tickets on sale now. Like they just don't have their tickets on sale. So I'm wondering, like I was poking around, the Orioles play at Milwaukee, at Boston, at places. They don't all have their tickets on sale. The places where they sell, like the Red Sox sell most of their tickets anyway, they're gone before the year begins, like a football team would be, like a good football team would be, like the Eagles or wherever, where the tickets are just sold out. And like the Washington football team used to be for 50 years until they weren't anymore. You can't buy Oriole tickets here for next year because they don't have a lease. They literally don't have the license to put tickets on sale. So it's Black Friday, it's Christmas time. You cannot gift your family 2 tickets to opening day, to this, to that, whatever. But there are a lot of baseball teams that need the money. The Padres, I went through. I can buy any Padre home game next year I want. I can click behind home plate. Royals. The Orioles are playing in Kansas City in April. You want tickets right? I can get you a ticket in the 5th row, right behind home plate for $73 for the Royals-Orioles game on a Sunday in April.
Mm-hmm.
You can't buy the tickets here. And it just speaks to like sort of how weird it is, and nobody talks about it, and they're so poorly run. And the football team, meanwhile, is really well run on the football field to the point where, like, it's Thanksgiving and the baseball team won 100 games, and we're not even talking about them. I mean, the football game this Sunday night,
Yeah,
they had 28 million people watch Monday Night Football the other night.
biggest audience in 3 decades. Amazing.
28 million people watched the football game Monday night.
That's a lot of eyeballs, man. I'm telling you.
And I don't even know if they're making it up. I was watching. Were you watching?
I made it to halftime.
Okay. Yeah, I fell asleep in the 3rd quarter, woke back up in the 4th quarter. Yeah.
We get up early in our profession, and had enough of the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce angle, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of celebrity couples. I'm a long time into this. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, it's fun because I think it does bring other eyeballs that normally wouldn't watch football games. But the one thing at M&T Bank Stadium notice, which is great, is a growing female presence. A lot of ladies are going to football games these days, which is a good thing.
Okay. I mean, I haven't been in a year and a half.
Yeah,
I did get, I want to thank Chad Steele for Thanksgiving, because it is Thanksgiving, that I got an offer to buy my PSLs back. That I get these emails 3 times a week now. If I want to sit in the perch for $500 to have access to buy the playoff thing. But that's marketing that the Orioles aren't doing right now. At least the Ravens are trying to get your money right now for next year in order so you can have tickets when the Houston Texans come up here, or Jacksonville, whoever it's going to be. But Dennis, they better play 2 home games in January. You know what I mean? They better play a game, win it, and play another one in January. They're the 1 seed now. They're the 1 seed. They're on Sunday Night Football. We're going to be all fatigued out. I'm going to be fat. I'm going to have 5 stuffing, turkey, cranberry, sweet potatoes, sauerkraut, all of that. By Sunday night, we're going to be footballed out all day Sunday, half the day Friday, college football. I talked to Leonard Raskin about that. Saturday, Ohio State, Michigan, all Sunday, all day long, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Good game Sunday, too, by the way. Yeah. And then we play the Sunday night game. There's going to be Sunday, waiting all day for Sunday night. We're going to have the songs. We're going to have all the Collinsworth, Chris Collinsworth, Jack Collinsworth, everybody Collinsworth. And they better win. I mean, yeah, they're 4.5-point favorites. I did the my Hollywood Casino thing this week on.
Nice.
I picked San Diego. LA. I picked the Chargers because I'm getting 4.5 points, but the line went to 3.5 because I don't know. That thing that Staley did the other day, that was Bush League. Boy, was that Bush League. Huh?
It seems to me like he's lost the team. I think he's I mean, again, I don't know. He's going to be fired soon. Maybe after Sunday night, depending on how bad the Ravens beat him, which I think is going to be pretty bad.
Well, that would be kind of fun, getting the coach fired, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're the Ravens, you want to,
of course,
hang a feather. Look, they went out to L.A., and I don't know, man. If I had to write a book of all the Raven games that I remember and reasons I would remember them, and I experienced this one alone, but I flew out to L.A. in 2019 for that beatdown of the Rams, and I remember that. I remember everything about that day. I had never been to the LA Coliseum in my life. I'd been outside of it several times, but I'd never physically been in there. I've been in the Rose Bowl, never witnessed a game there, but I've been in it. And I'd never walked in there, and I had a press pass, and they were selling Lamar Jackson shirts on the corner in LA before the game. And you had to park. I mean, dude, it's USC. It is a
Mm.
war zone. I mean, it's LA, it's rough South Central, like where that area is.
Sprawling campus where Pete Carroll used to do his recruiting at midnight in certain neighborhoods.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's rough. And I
A lot of
remember that
folklore.
day so vividly. I knew I was never going to see another NFL game there because they were building the other place. I saw that when I was landing. And I went that night and they just beat them sideways. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that was a good Rams team, pretty decent Rams team. And they just beat them in a way that you could never think a team could go 3 time zones on the road. It was a Monday night game, as I remember it.
Ran him off the field, dancing all over the place. Lamar Jackson was spot on, couldn't miss. They just destroyed the Rams that night.
Did you ever see the video that I posted on the field after the game where Jalen Ramsey and Marcus Peters were about to kill each other?
Yes.
I videoed. I got in the middle of that. I was down on the field at the end of the game, and I had my camera out, and I mean, it looked like a gang fight. It was nasty.
Yeah.
It was nasty. And that's what happens when you get beaten by 50 points.
And
I remember them bringing
high-tempered
Pat
players.
McCary into the tent. I remember that night vividly, John Harbaugh walking into the media tent, and I'm the only one in there. Me and Sam Farmer from the LA Times. And I'm thinking to myself, we're not far away from Harbaugh not having anybody here after a game.
Yeah.
And this is before the plague. This is 3 months before the plague. And then they played out there again. They played the Chargers. Remember, they played the Chargers in the little soccer stadium out there Christmas week.
And beat them then, too.
And beat them. And I stayed with my family for Christmas. I did Christmas dinner with my family in San Diego. So in Carlsbad. So I would have been out there this weekend with Thanksgiving. I would have been there now with my cousin Larissa and her kids and dogs and animals and
you had good weather. I've been to San Diego twice, and both times I had bad weather. People always say, "Oh, the weather is perfect in San Diego."
Did you go? When did your time of the year did you go? Because my aunt would always tell me
March and April.
My aunt would tell me, don't come in June. It's the June gloom. She always told me the June gloom. So I don't know. I was there for 2 Super Bowls and I never put long pants on. I mean, in the end of January, it can be 61 degrees for a daytime high in San Diego.
I was told it's always 75 and sunny. That's not true.
That's not true.
Both times I've been there, it's been windy. The one day, windy and cold. Second day was windy, cold, and rainy.
Here's what I'm going to do. We're going to fix things. You and I are going to go out there for an Oriole game. Once the Orioles get sold into management, we can tolerate. You and I will go out to Petco Park. I'll take you out to Coronado. We'll go ice skating on the rink out there when it's 80 degrees.
I'll watch you ice skate because I can't stand up on ice skates.
I'm going to take you up to Mission Park. Listen, we're going to go. We'll get some shave ice up in Pacific Beach. I'll show you. I love San Diego. But listen, the team's not there anymore. They're in LA. There's not going to be any fans there. Our fans are going to be out there.
Well,
this is a critical game in a lot of ways. I mean, the Ravens have put a little distance now between the other teams in the division, and you have another division slapdown happening at 1:00 on Sunday amongst teams with one has a quarterback and one doesn't, but they don't have a quarterback.
No.
Tomlin lost the game. The fans are blaming him. Bengals stink. Browns stink. And boy, the Chiefs are in trouble, right? And the Bills are in trouble, and the Jaguars, who knows? We'll see them in a couple of weeks. But the Ravens have a chance for the first time in 28 years, 27, how many years it's been since they threw me out. But however many years it's been, they have a chance to completely and totally driver's seat this thing in a way that they never had during the Billick administration till maybe 06 they had that chance. But we're talking a generational chance here to boat race the other teams, to not worry about the Pittsburgh game at the end of the year, to turn it into a 16-game season, take 2 weeks off, get everybody right. He's talking about Andrews coming back. I don't know. I don't believe a word. If it says Harbaugh on it, I've learned. I openly call the Harbaugh families liars and cheaters.
Jim or John are both.
I have spent long stretches of my time loving them, wanting to love them, being told by them that they love me. They're liars and they're cheats. And I would tell that to their father, their mother, their daughter, their brother-in-law, any of them. Because you know why? Because I don't have a press pass on Sunday night in LA and I don't forget that stuff. So but I do remember these trips and how tough they can be when you go 3 time zones and sit around for 2 days and watch football all day
Sure.
and show up in an empty, beautiful mausoleum stadium that how many people are going to be there? Like
Uh,
seriously, 30,000 on Sunday?
I was
Seriously.
27,000 was the number that came to my head for no other reason except that's what popped in my head.
Well, 30 because there'll be 3,000 of our fans. The West
Yeah,
Wing
and
will represent us.
so Joey Bosa I think is going to be out for the game. They're in trouble. They're in big trouble.
Well,
This is
all the more reason this game better not be 19-17. But I took the Chargers in the points because these games tend to be tougher than that. I don't know if the Chargers are lost or not. I don't know where they are with Herbert. I just know if they have any fit all, they're going to show up and play for nobody. But they got a season right. And look, Andrew's down. Humphrey, Stanley, Ravens snoozing into a bye week here. I don't know, but the game better not be close at 10:30. You better fall asleep at halftime because we're up 28-3 like it did last time.
we've learned a long time ago, Nestor. The NFL is a week-to-week league. What you did last week has zero bearing on what you're going to do this week, and that's the biggest concern. But they should be able to handle business against these Chargers. They're reeling. They're 4-6. It's a must-win game for them, but it was a must-win game for the Bengals the other day too, and we saw how that turned out.
Well, Dennis, I'll be here on Monday. I know it's a long, crazy weekend. If you're listening on Thursday, listening on Sunday, anytime Friday and Saturday for our holiday programming around here, there's no football 1 o'clock the next couple of weeks, right? Then they come back and they play this Rams game, and then they go to Jacksonville. It's a night game too, and that's then everything after that's sort of flexy. Right, they're playing Saturday night Christmas night, which is Monday night. They're playing Christmas night. I looked at the Christmas schedule, Dennis. It's unbelievable what this league does for television and does to fans in Philadelphia, Denver, Detroit getting out of bed on Thanksgiving. The league just requires a lot of its fan base in that way. And also its players and families.
Of course.
It just all, it's just, there's a lot of money being squeezed from this tree on a Thanksgiving weekend for playing Black Friday games now. Like they used to let the Egg Bowl, let Mississippi have that, let Texas A&M have that. No.
They want it all, baby. They want it all. They're printing money.
We're playing Manhattan, baby. We're playing New York. Let's get the Jets on Black Friday,
They're printing money. Well, Nestor, I want to wish you and your family a very happy Thanksgiving. For our listeners, it'll be Sunday, Friday. Again, happy Thanksgiving to everyone out there.
Well, my wife started on Monday with cranberries. And if you follow our Chronicle online, my wife over 20 years has culled the best recipes for stuff. And she goes kind of crazy. Dennis, I swear to God, my kid and his wife are flying away. They're not even around to help us eat it. We have no help to eat 14 pounds worth of Wise turkey, a vat of fresh cranberry. I'm talking cranberry. We're like, she's peeling oranges, apples.
Okay, the real deal.
I'm talking about a thing of brine and a bag and a giant trash bag with fresh apples and fresh cranberries and sage and thyme and rosemary and like everything you could possibly. There's biscuits in the fridge. There's potatoes. There's squash. There's green beans. There's sweet potatoes. There's green beans. There's broccoli. There's stuffing. Oh, don't go. She bought loaves of pumpernickel. Cheesecake Factory pumpernickel. You get at the Wise Market. Cuts it up. Gets it all crusty.
Sound delicious, man.
She bought cans of pumpkin and the condensed milk. She's got pie things. She loves to bake. So my response, I get two jobs. You know what they are? One, eat it. Two, well, I pay for half of it because we're married. But I have to half pay for it, eat it, and then I have to do all the dishes. That's my role is.
Hey, know your role.
It's funny. I want to give you a little backstage story. Marvin and I are real close, right? Yep. Marvin Lewis, right? And Marvin, my wife's like, he's still at Arizona State. They're losing like 48-7 at halftime. Arizona State, rough, right? The whole thing's been rough. I was over at Marvin's house one day for dinner, and he's the head coach of the team, and he's in front of the players, and this is during the Ocho Cinco era, and we're at his house. His corgis are running around, Peggy, whatever. We had this big dinner. We went out and got all this food. We're making. His parents are there. Her parents are there, like from Pittsburgh. All the in-laws are in the house. Both the in-laws are. Everybody's alive. So both sets of grandparents. Maybe it was Mother's Day. We were there for like it was a football weekend. It was a game day. It was whatever. We crashed at his house, the whole deal. Marvin's the one doing the dishes. He's got a dishwasher. He's got, and Marvin and I are doing the dishes with gloves on. It is,
That's funny.
and I took a picture of him doing it. I'm like, people wouldn't believe you do your own dishes. At the time he's making $5-6 million. I'm like, people wouldn't believe that you. And Marvin's like, "Gotta get your hands dirty, dude. I was a football player." And that was the one thing Saragusa would always say to me about the late great Tony Saragusa. One time, I dogged the baseball players at that time. I embraced the football. But 97, 98, the players were getting a little squirrely. We're buying all these millionaire players. Rafael Palmeiro. I rest my case. Saragusa comes in from practice one day, and they're all muddy in the old facility. They're not Super Bowl champions at all. They're the purple Barney. 98, 99. Yep. I'm just getting to know Goose. The team wasn't any good. I don't think Billick was here yet, honestly. And Goose would always say funny things, and we're coming off the field. He's carrying his pads, and he's all dirty, and I don't want to touch him. He's got grass on his meat hook fingers, And he says to me, and this is Goose, okay? And I'm going to use Goose's language. You ready for some Jersey? All these baseball players are pussies because they don't even carry their own equipment. I see the way they are. They got handlers, and this guy carries his bats and his helmets. We're football players. We carry our own stuff. And I thought, all right, Goose. That was 25 years ago now, right? You know what I mean? But I remember Goose saying that to me because he would bad talk the baseball players because he knew that would win me over. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So, but nonetheless, football players, there's toughness in football players. And I think that shows itself in these games the rest of the year where the Ravens, who are a better team, get on a plane, go out there, and the weather won't be bad in LA. But when the weather gets bad, and you always talk about Lamar and the ball being wet and cold and all that, there's something about the toughness, the innate
That's what
toughness.
I want to see. I want to see Lamar play well in successive inclement weather, cold, rain, ice, snow, those type of games. December, January, and February type of games.
Well, and we're not going to have him in Jacksonville, but we might get him around here.
No,
and
but to get to the climate-controlled Death Star in Vegas, you got to go through that.
Well, I think you saw it Monday night in the Kansas City-Philadelphia game, right? That was a nasty weather game for sure, and the weather affected the game. The weather affected the way the Chiefs caught the football. I'd also say this, because you love my perspective on all these years. That Denver game that we won, the Mile High Miracle game, it's the coldest. It was just cold beyond anything I could ever express to anybody. Ice bowl kind of like crazy, crazy cold. And the Ravens outwarmed them. You know what I mean? Like on that day, like the team that gets the coldest, the toughest team usually wins in football.
Absolutely.
And I'll say that as I share your EVT picture that you sent to me this week.
Go Mavericks. Yes. Yep. I think the Super Bowl champion every year is the toughest team of the league. It's akin to if you were to lock both teams in the locker room and only one would come out, that would be a Super Bowl winner.
You look like Uncle Rico. You look 28 years old when you're in high school.
You know what?
When you went to Captain Cork's, when you were 16, would they serve you back in the day?
Never got carded. Never. I was the beer guy. And the funny thing is I didn't drink. But in that picture, I was sick. I was a 16-year-old senior at that point. I didn't turn 17 until the following April. But I was 16 years old, man. I only wish I had 2 more years or 3 more years of eligibility in high school. I would have been a complete monster.
See, what's beautiful about this picture of you is that you, like Herman Kolb, had what did they call the banana thing? Only linebackers.
Neck roll, baby. The neck roll.
The neck roll.
The neck roll.
The neck roll. Only linebackers had that, right?
Linebackers and fullbacks, and I played both positions for the Mavericks. I was a starting linebacker and a starting fullback.
All right.
I was a crash dummy. I was like Sam Gash and Ray Lewis all rolled up into one. At least in my mind, anyway.
A guy that got the dirty job done is what you're telling me.
Man, if it was moving, I'd hit it.
Rosy leaks is what you're telling me.
I was involved in every play: run blocking, pass blocking, running the ball, or just smacking somebody.
I miss Pat Ricard, by the way. So, I miss talking to him because he's one of my favorite dudes. All right, man. Well, listen, I'll
Hey,
get you
appreciate
Monday.
you.
I hope
You
you have a
got it.
beautiful Thanksgiving.
Yep, you
Eat
too.
everything. Enjoy yourself. My God, take pictures with your family. Love them
You
up.
got it.
Get second helpings.
100%.
And I hope we play great on Sunday. I do.
You got it, Nestor. Be well. There he goes, Nestor J. Aparicio here at 1570 AM WNST. We'll take a quick break and come back right after this.